Hello, hello, my beloved waking gods and goddesses. Welcome to Love, Truth, and Beauty. Do it yourself awakening for divine in the flesh. Now, with replays on IGTV at Dakini.kiss, where together we learn how to surf and navigate the ups and downs of the totality of human experience, composing a new earth beyond the limitations of this perception and managed reality matrix of five senses, having discovered our true divine creative natures in our true sensual sensorial universe of seven senses, creating formless into form outside of the matrix. Before we get started, please do give this video a thumbs up. Please also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, selecting the all settings so that when I upload videos, the YouTube will let you know. I generally upload Tuesdays and Fridays, 2 p.m. Eastern. My name is Maria Weston. I am your hostess of the highest, here to download, upload, inspire, and usher you into your bestest and brightest selves, your bestest and brightest light, and inviting you all to open your hearts wider and wider and wider still. Hello, my love bugs, my honey bunnies, my special babies. Welcome to episode 154. This is part 10 of our 13-part video series regarding the levels and lessons of relationships from unconscious to conscious, in and out of the matrix. In our last video, we discussed the great work elements required to move from third level relationships to fourth level heart-based new humanity relationships, which are outside of the matrix. The divine purpose of heartbreak, the act of forgiveness, apparently a tall fucking order for many of you out there, myself included. So I work at this constantly. Today's video discusses a facet of conscious love, beginning with conscious women as the gatekeepers to conscious presence on the planet outside of the matrix. So, what the actual fuck does this mean? So listen up, kids. I'm going to spill the beans. You might want to take notes. This is a lot of material just to let you know. Don't you know? Okay, woman, you are the gatekeeper to conscious presence on the planet. Now, there is this Chinese proverb that I love so much, and it goes like this: when sleeping women wake, mountains move. All right? Now, two hearts and the cradle of love. Woman has two hearts, her physical heart and her yoni. For she has the superpowers of experiencing the totality of human experience. She intensely feels the polarities of the bliss and pain of life and love, and everything in between and beyond sensation, all sensation known and yet to be known. I say woman's womb is the cradle of life. Now, what lives me is this, and this is a haiku from Srimate hiding in the bushes. What lives me is this, her code, divine and conscious, inviting me in. So this is the great work, my loves, and it is on women primarily. The gateway to conscious presence is woman's yoni, is the chalice of love, and the gateway to conscious presence on the planet. Now, the world of men and all things of form are born of woman's womb. Woman's womb is the nest that nurtures human life into physicality, a male or female child. That child grows up to be man or woman, conscious or unconscious. That man or woman co-creates the world of form in the matrix by engaging the masculine creative potential energy of formless, activating the potential through desires, dreams, ideas, intentions, wants, needs, and visions, and morphing that creative potential into the divine feminine creative energy made manifest into physical form. Now, these creations have the capacity to either bring on awakened consciousness and more happiness, or more pain and suffering if woman remains in the shallow, in the matrix, and in the unconsciousness of the mind-controlled program cycle of victimization, followed by the insatiable vengeance and hatred for all men and the world she's co-created with unconscious man. Either way, woman loves. Woman's womb is the world and also holds all the worlds, birthing and blossoming forth, conscious and unconscious. Conscious man has the superpowers to dissolve and purify the unconscious world energies in woman's womb, and that includes enemies. Yang and yin, fire and water. In five-element Chinese medicine, the masculine is the active principle related to action and active stillness. Okay? Its energy is yang and is represented by the element of fire, the color red, and an equilateral triangle with the apex pointed to the sky. The feminine is the receptive principle related to emotions, feelings, and sensations. Its energy is yin and is represented by the element of water, the color blue, and an equilateral triangle with its apex pointed down to the planet. Now, shit, did I do this right? No, we want to do it that way. There we go. Okay, yeah. Fire and water keep each other in balance through mutual cooperation. This balanced union is represented by the blending of these two equilateral triangles superimposed upon one another, yielding a 6-point star. This is the way of the divine in nature of formless and form, man and woman. An imbalance of either element can injure the other. The water element governs the sex organs and their functions and balances the fire element. Water receives and nourishes and is necessary for growth and creativity. Now, without water, fire can rage out of control. In the body, this expresses as fever and inflammation. Now, too much water drowns out fire, leading one to lose his or her ability and power to take inspired action and move into stagnation or inaction. Just as the sun and its heat encourages growth and the blossoming of flowers in nature, the fire element is expressed through sexual energy and is associated with creativity and self-expression that can bring forth new life. Woman's womb is governed by the element of water, which is yin. Now, according to Dr. Elsenhaus in his book Staying Healthy with the Seasons, during lovemaking, sexual energy, which is associated with the fire element, peaks, and man releases this fire through his semen, which is made from blood, which is of the fire element. Through his sex organ, the water element, into woman, the receptive yin principle, the water element. Thus, woman receives man's fire into her womb, which is associated with the water element. Conscious lovemaking is so important in aligning our activities with our divinity outside of the matrix, because too much unconscious sexual activity in woman leads to excess fire, which is masculine energy, in the womb, which is of the water element, resulting in many painful physical dysfunctions within her sexual organs. Now, because conscious man has been purified of his past programs of unconscious sexuality and aggression, he has the capacity to dissolve the unconscious masculine energies that have been literally and energetically dumped into a woman's body through her own past sexual history, throughout the collective historical, patriarchal, matriarchal atrocities toward women and humanity. In man, too much unconscious sexual activity diminishes fire and can lead to an imbalance of water, resulting in a loss of energy, backaches, diminished creativity, lack of focus, the inability to follow through and complete goals by taking inspired action. The balance of the fire and water elements in the body is essential to divine love. Now, divine love is outside of the matrix. It is the sacred circuit of our innate generosity and care, our seventh sense, gifting, giving, and receiving in the sensual sensorial world of seven senses, which is in the true quantum field creation field universe. Now, conscious man Fire stimulates feelings, water in conscious woman, who then nourishes conscious man with her heart love. As physical expressions of the divine, each of us carries an energetic essence that imbues every cell, my loves. Thus, every exchange of energy, particularly during sex, during conscious lovemaking or unconscious lovemaking, is a transfer of energy between man and woman, the masculine and feminine essences. And this is true in straight, bi, gay, transgender, etc. So don't be offended. Now, too much water drowns out fire, leading one to lose his or her ability and power to take inspired action, as I mentioned before. Okay, so we need to really be conscious of how this affects us. Okay, so last time I was talking about how we need to take charge of our reactivity and move into a place of forgiveness, move into a place of consciousness regarding our heartbreaks. Okay, so this is all about dying to be ourselves. And like I said, because women, we are the gatekeepers' conscious presence on the planet. Each one of us has to purify our heart, mind, body of all our personalized and selfish wants and needs born of all our past traumas. This includes the collective history of humanity, what it is to be a woman, what it is to be a man, to be a child. This is our direct experiences with conscious man and conscious woman, and all the world, all inclusive, because the world, my loves, is not the planet. The world is the matrix and subject to all of the scripts and prefab programs of the powers that want to be who are controlling the matrix. Okay, and we as women, we must do this to know herself and be herself as the physical expressions of love and the divine in the flesh, to be conscious woman, to be consciousness in humanity. And only then can woman draw to herself conscious man or the conscious masculine essence in gay, bi, straight, transgender, etc., and keep the masculine man honest. She will have to dissolve all her suffering and feelings of blame and victimization as an expression of woman to be conscious woman. And in doing so, conscious woman's communications and emotions will be pure. Even her anger will be pure because it is not distorted and laden with the weight of past emotion and injuries as identified by victim consciousness. Anger, rage, frustration are the winds of change in the higher order. So opening to anger, rage, and frustration leads woman to freedom while endeavoring to follow the false new age tenet that anger is not spiritual because anger is in high vibration. If you do that one, dudes, ladies, gentlemen, it will make you ill. Okay, so don't do it. The realness is necessary to temper the seeds of peace, healing, forgiveness, and transform stagnation and break free from the collective fury toward unconscious man, unconscious masculine energy in both men and women. Now, the archetype of Kali Ma gone wild, or the wrathful countenance of the Dakini Vajra Yogini, can bring back order in woman's life and the cosmos. Yet, we fear the collective rage and pretend it doesn't affect us because why? Only demented, fucked up women tap into that collective, right? Ha! The collective fury toward unconscious men has the unbridled power to destroy and incapacitate woman and man and all relationships and the world balance within the matrix. Therefore, all of woman's vengeance and wrath directed all the expressions of man and the unconscious masculine, especially within herself. It's all got to go. Now, in addition, woman's self-hatred, mistrust in her own divine feminine, the intense grief, the despair attached to past relationship disappointments, and the false notions of love also must be dissolved through her great inner work and through conscious awareness of using those triggers to wake herself up, see herself, see reality, exit the matrix, enter into her center screen, into awareness, center, and compose a different reality that activates those sectors of reality in the true quantum field creation field universe. Woman must face herself to reveal herself. That might include burning in the purifying fires of love through the practice of heart meditation and focusing in on conscious breath work, focusing on the in-breath and directing any pain, challenges, reactivity, and intense emotions into the heart, and allowing the superpowers of the heart and the potent power of love to metabolize this pain and emotion and transmute them into more love, and sharing that love with the world, with the planet through the out breath. Okay, we're not polluting by exhaling our toxic shit. Okay, so when people direct you, breath workers direct you to exit your toxic shit through your exhale, okay, they're sound asleep. Know what you're doing. Okay, now there's also utilizing bouts of psychotherapy, which I would say limit that, because a lot of psychotherapy is done within the matrix. You need to find a therapist who has exited the matrix, my friends. Okay, there's also direct self-inquiry, which I highly recommend, or emotional energetic healing, then telling a different story, or at the very least ceasing repeating the old stories of victimization and helplessness, of trauma, of you know what I'm talking about. The other facet is through conscious lovemaking with conscious man, or through conscious celibacy. Now, healing begins when woman and also man declares enough to the string of empty, low vibrational relationships with unconscious man, unconscious woman. She must forgive herself for betraying her divine feminine and divine masculine within. She must reclaim herself and her most precious body as divine. Now, the earliest inklings of the need to heal occur when woman declares, also man declares, to abstain from any sexual activity with man or with unconscious woman until he is in love, or until he feels it's right and the timing is divine. The bitter taste of meaningless sexual activity and the aftermath of dissatisfaction and emptiness from man or woman unconscious, their inability to reach their beloved, even if he gets off, are too predictable and too painful to repeat. This healing stage has its own challenges for women and men on the journey to real love. First, it defines who and what he is as the embodiment of the divine. Okay? She will continue to encounter unconscious man. He will continue to encounter unconscious woman and be tested time after time. They will be tempted to betray their divinity and remain in the shallow like most of our brothers and sisters, chasing the temporary thrill of orgasms. They will be enticed to accept the alluring notion that it's better to be used just for sex, or the even more delusional to use man or woman just for sex on their terms. At least the sex will be on their terms. Yeah. Yet this default is typical behavior aligned with the unconscious masculine within both man and woman, who only seeks temporary gratification because sex is the substitute for love. But evolving woman and evolving man, who is beginning to awaken to embody the consciousness of man and woman, knows that sex, just for sex, is the ultimate self-betrayal. Facing self to understand and reveal self is never pretty, my friends, as you know, as those of you know, doing the great work consistently. It requires humility and devotion to sustain deliberate self-examination and to nurture self-knowledge that is only gained through burning in the fires of love, truth, and beauty, and its opposites of self-hate, self-deception, and the ugliness of it all, always aligning our humanity with our divinity. Woman as the gatekeepers to pure love incarnate are the gatekeepers to conscious presence on the planet along with man. As long as man is unable or unwilling to embody truth through full unconscious presence in himself on all levels and in loving woman, okay? Woman is not to allow unconscious man under any circumstances anywhere near her body, let alone inside her. And that goes for the men too. Okay, you don't want to be inside unconscious woman. All right, now unconscious man and woman, they cannot be present. And if the circumstances of life dictate that unconscious man surround woman, then woman, as the embodiment of love on the planet, must be willing to die for this truth. She must keep the gateway to love pure, even if it means she remains alone with that man for the rest of her life. This is a tough one. And the flip side of man, conscious man, that is also included. Okay, so I'm being all inclusive because y'all are so politically correct and you get all upset and in my shit if I don't include it. So there we go. It is important for woman and man to understand and honor their legacy as the gatekeepers to conscious presence on the earth, and ultimately as each other's gatekeeper, in order to dissolve the rampant destructive familiarity in nearly all relationships between man and woman within the matrix, which in turn translates to all relationships of the world in the matrix. Okay, remember, the world is not the planet. Conscious woman and conscious man must realize that in the great cosmic scheme of things made manifest in the world, all that is manifest in form is actually feminine energy. This includes the manifestation of man himself. This is aligned with true Tantra, which is the divine, and everything and nothing is dissolved into being or ignored. There is no more masculine or feminine, just formless and form, eternal, ever evolving, ever becoming. This is the sacred union of the divine masculine and divine feminine, heaven and earth, heaven on earth, timeless and time, spirit and matter, and yin and yang. Now, over 20 years ago, 30 years ago now, I was blown away by the wisdom and clarity of my dear Taoist healer, who gently imparted to me a much needed truth bomb, B-O-M-B, B-A-L-M, during an emotionally fragile and painful time in my life. When it comes to man and woman and the energies of masculine and feminine, yang and yin respectively, within every unfolding moment of existence, there is the emptiness of yin, feminine woman, receiving the fullness of yang, masculine man. So with woman being the gatekeeper to conscious presence on the planet, it is woman who says yay or nay to man. So my loves, no more settling, no more compromise. There's only love or the refusal of love with a bow open. Commanding love. Commanding love is not demanding love. Woman who demands love is stuck in the hellish realm of her past and has yet to face herself, to die, to bring forth her true self. Woman who commands love knows with all her being that she is the embodiment of love and of all things manifested into form. She has truly died to herself and released that self that was laden with past experience, the hatred of men, the matrix system realities of victim consciousness, and vengeance to that victimization. This egoic death, the dissolving of all past into nothing, purifies her to receive conscious man. It is only dying to her old self and being love and purifying her past that woman can magnetize to herself conscious man and consciousness, the awakened being outside of the matrix, who also wholly embodies the truth of who and what he is as conscious man outside of the matrix. This union of love incarnate and truth brings divine union into physical existence, my loves. Woman must hold man, conscious or not, accountable at her gateway to the universe, her yoni, where all is known and yet to be known. By requiring the utmost of man, woman equally holds herself accountable. If she does not honor this responsibility, then she is as unconscious as he is, destined to remain in the shallow confines of the world and the matrix system reality, powered by the powers that want to be. Now, the powers that want to be want man and woman to remain enslaved, unconscious, in the shallow, divided, and in perpetual conflict, adhering to the divide and conquer agendas of the powers that want to be within the matrix. The compromise, settling for unconscious love, was started by unconscious man through his obsession with creating the world for himself and obeying the powers that want to be and making that his priority rather than loving woman. The compromise, however, is perpetuated by unconscious woman within men and women and humanity, who is complicit and forgets that they are love. Now, knowing the true self, woman, man would never consciously betray themselves, her sisters or brothers, by settling or selling herself, himself short, for they are the gods and goddesses of the heart-based new humanity. Now, I have an offering here that is meant to unravel just some really sticky points in relationships. So I want you guys to consider writing a number of completion letters to folks with whom you have some unfinished business with regarding anything and everything that triggered you while listening to this particular video, okay? You may follow this format or revise it to suit your purpose, and the letter consists of 9 paragraphs, 9 being the number and superpower of completion. Now, I will have this exercise in the show notes below. Number 1, my intention to write this letter is ... 2, something I feel angry about is. Number 3, something I feel hurt about is. Number 4, something I feel sad about. Number 5, something I resent. Number 6, something I regret. Number 7, something I feel guilt and shame about. Number 8, something I appreciate about you is. Number 9, 3 things I would love to receive from you now are. Now, you may do this exercise over and over again and again, and I want you to make sure to burn or shred the letter after you complete it. And if appropriate, you may even choose to send this letter to the particular person. Okay, my honey bunnies, my love bugs, my beautiful divine in the flesh, that is my speech. Next time, we are going to have another excellent discussion about the evolution of conscious sexuality and lovemaking outside of the matrix and the true quantum field creation field universe. I know this video was an intense one. Lots of stuff in, so dive in. Take it in little by little by little. Please help me grow this channel by giving this video a thumbs up, leaving a comment in the comments box below or in private. Please share this video with your community's friends, family members, and on social media platforms you feel would benefit from this content. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, selecting the all settings so that the YouTube will let you know when I upload next. And if you find value, enjoy, or benefit from my content and videos, won't you please consider supporting my work through a donation? My PayPal link is also below, along with my link tree that hooks you up with all my stuff and the many different ways you can connect with me and work with me. I thank you all so much for hanging out with me, with your participation and focused attention. I really, really do appreciate it. I cannot do this work without you. So until next time, my dear hearts, my friends, always act from love, outside of the matrix from your center screen, composing a new reality, activating your creation one, quantum jumping all your lifelines. That's right. Let's do it so we can all be the love that we are. We can share our love. We can create. We can make art, make music, make love, and help me repopulate the true quantum field creation field universe. Here's to love, truth, and beauty, my beautiful waking gods and goddesses. Mwah!